Hello, everybody, and good evening to you on this Wednesday edition of the Cleveland Sports Report. We are your TV home for Cleveland Indians baseball, your cable home for Browns football, and your sister station for Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. We are the Cleveland Sports Report. Hi, I am your host, Nick Brolis, and today, the coaching vacancy for the Browns and the search continues on. And based on some of the sources on the internet that we've been reading today, it's come down to one guy, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, Mike Pettine. They were down in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl, and pretty much what we've been reading today is that they have a deal in the works, but they haven't actually offered Pettine the job yet. So, obviously, anything that we find out, we're going to let you know about it, and we're really hoping that this gets done soon, because today, as I was talking to some of my producers on the show today, I was thinking along the lines of they need to get this deal done as soon as they possibly can for a couple different reasons. Obviously, they want to get all the coaches together in terms of your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, all the other side coaches on the side have to be, got in touch with and need to be brought in as well. But I think something that people forget is that when you are preparing for the draft, as the Browns are, and usually, or I should say they're doing that right now, and they usually are around this time of year, is they've got to figure out what kind of players they want to be able to run their system with success. And when you have a head coaching vacancy, you are only making things harder on yourself to be able to figure out what talent you need to be able to bring in and draft, who feels what about what certain players, that type of stuff. So that's my biggest reason for them. I feel that they need to get this thing done and over with. And I'm tired of getting on Twitter every day, reading all these unanimous, if you will, these reports and whatnot. So that's one of the reasons why I think that they need to get this done with. Now, also, don't forget Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. He can talk to the Browns and he can do another interview, but they can't offer him a job until after February 2nd, which is, of course, the Super Bowl in New York, New Jersey. Technically, it's New Jersey. And they can't do anything with him until after that game is over, win or lose, obviously. Now, getting off the head coaching thing, I was doing some research. I'm sure some of you have. And if you are a Seattle Seahawks fan, or a Denver Bronco fan, or you just are going to the Super Bowl because you're one of those people that you've gone to every Super Bowl since, you can remember, you might have done some research on the pricing for the Super Bowl. Very interesting, I found, were some of the prices. The average suite is going for $800,000. Can you imagine that? A suite. I understand it's climate controlled. They're expecting, I think, 12 inches of snow like this weekend in New York, but $800,000. Wow. No way. Not even if I had the money would I pay $800,000 for a suite. Forget that. Now, the normal seats, where all the people are going to be sitting there and going to be cold, face value is going for $850. So, you've got to be crazy if you're going to pay $850 to sit in what could potentially be a negative 30-degree game and think you're going to enjoy it while trying to keep yourself warm. And just for, the giggles aspect of it, you cannot take a taxi to the game. The NFL is not allowing fans to take taxis to the game. They have Super Bowl buses for this game. Guess how much the fee is? You're going to love this. Not $50. Not even $100. Try $150. $150 just to be taken to the stadium. $150. Mark, you got some of that in your back pocket in case we were to go if the Browns ever get to the Super Bowl in our lifetime? No? You're the big money maker, my producer. So, found that was pretty interesting. In terms of the draft that we were just talking about, I told everybody last week on the show, I don't want the Browns to draft a quarterback in the first round, or even the first 2 rounds, maybe not even in the first 3 rounds. I like to go into the season next year with Hoyer and Campbell, but I did tell you guys that I was very interested in the Browns going after a 3rd quarterback free agent alongside of the quarterback that they do draft in this upcoming draft. The list is very slim, and there was only 3 guys that I don't want to say gained my attention, but they gained the national writers' attention. I believe it was off BleacherReport.com. Michael Vick, no thank you. Don't want nothing to do with him. Too prone to injury, past his time. We don't even know who our head coach is right now, so we don't even know what kind of a system we're going to be running. Josh McCown, backup quarterback to Jay Cutler, who just signed a 7-year deal, I believe it was, in Chicago. Interested in him, but probably not going to happen. I really don't see the Browns being able to go that route. I think that they're probably going to end up cutting Whedon, as we all expect them to do, and just drafting the quarterback. Josh Freeman, who played and started for Tampa Bay last year, ended up getting traded to the Minnesota Vikings. No, not interested in him either. I noticed that I think he played 2 or 3 games for the Vikings last year. His first game was absolutely terrible. I think he threw like 3 picks or something like that. But, I mean, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because those are the only 3 quarterbacks that were noteworthy. And they're not, I'm just, the only one that I'm interested in is Josh McCown, and I don't see the Browns going after him. So, chime in on that, please. I'm going to throw the phone number to you out right now, actually, so we can get these, so I can get my laptop here full, so I can know who I'm going to and what they want to talk about. Phone number is 330-555-2821. Of course, my Twitter followers out there, I want to hear what you have to say as well. Got my phone on me. I check it during the break. At @nbrolis. The Brolis is BROULIS. For some of you that don't know how to spell the last name, I've had found some people finding difficulties in spelling the last name. Email is nickbrolis8404@yahoo.com. And now on to this was an article I was actually, before we go on to the Cavs game tonight, I found this interesting article on Bleacher Report as well. They got a lot of good things on the Bleacher Report. I got to give it to them on that. They released the NFL's best to worst uniforms, and I was curious. I mean, who isn't? I mean, I think we all, the teams that we support, I think we all have an opinion on their jersey style, the colors, the logo, or in our case, no logo. But here's the list of all 32 teams in the NFL and what they were rated. And we're going to start out, obviously, at worst. Number 32, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Never been impressed with their uniforms. Colors, I'm fine with them. I don't really care. Wasn't a big fan of how they changed their helmets, though. I think it's too much in terms of the Oregon way of doing things. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I was surprised to see the Tennessee Titans at number 31. I like their colors. Not a bad logo on the helmet, but nonetheless. Number 30, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not too shabby on the color scheme. I prefer them to go back to their old creamsicle days with the Buccaneer, the actual pirate guy on their helmet. I always liked that. I know a lot of people weren't a big fan, but I did. 29, Arizona Cardinals. I'm actually kind of surprised they were rated this good. I've never been a huge fan of the color scheme or the logo. Number 28. This was probably the one that surprised me the most, and I say that because I actually think they're my favorite color scheme. The Carolina Panthers. I love the black and the blue. I love that. Those are actually my two favorite colors. They throw the white in there to kind of offset those two strong colors, so I was a bit surprised that they were ranked 28. Also surprised at number 27, the Miami Dolphins. Always liked their colors. I wasn't a fan of that they changed their helmet with the dolphin. He was more of like this, you know, kind of more bent on the helmet. This year they went more flat, so I wasn't a big fan of that. But again, I do like their colors. Number 26, Minnesota Vikings. I don't mind the logo, but I'm not a fan of purple for anybody, so they should have been, you know, a lot lower. I think they should have been. I would have put them in 31 in place of Tennessee. And number 25, the Baltimore Ravens. Again, purple. Not a big fan of it. Not a big fan of the logo. So you get what you get. 24, the Philadelphia Eagles. I wasn't surprised that they landed there. Number 23, the Denver Broncos. I was actually having a talk with some people during the AFC Championship game against New England, and I think that they should go back to their old school jerseys with the brighter blue and the orange and the old school Denver logo. I always liked that. But yeah, they came in at 23. Cincinnati came in at 22. You know, Cincinnati, nothing major. I mean, they seem to switch off with their logo between the bold B with, you know, the black stripe going through it, and then you have the actual, you know, Bengal animal. Number 21, St. Louis Rams. I'm not opposed to the current colors that they have. Although I wish they'd go back to the yellow with the navy blue. And I got number 20, the Atlanta Falcons. I was kind of surprised they ended up there. I don't mind the colors red and black. I think that's a pretty good color scheme. And the Falcon, I've always liked the original old school Falcon, but you know, take it for what it's worth. Number 19, the New England Patriots. I've always preferred the old school logo where it's actually got the Patriot guy going down in his stance on the side of the helmet. I'm not a huge fan of that, you know, the newer Patriot look that they went with, you know, 10, 15 years ago. Number 18, the Buffalo Bills. I've always liked their colors. I've always liked their logo. I think that they could have been a little bit better off rated. Number 17, the Houston Texans. I'm not overly thrilled with that team's color scheme, although it's kind of like a darker blue. I don't know if you want to say navy blue, but anyways, and it's real just a plain look. I'm sorry. And then you have number 16, the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not a big fan of their color scheme these days and the way their jerseys are. But I mean, I've always liked their helmet, but I think they should just go back to their old school way of the colors. And then number 15, the Detroit Lions. I was actually going to put them higher up on the list. I've always liked their colors. I've always liked their logo. And I'm really surprised they ended up 15th. Number 14, our Cleveland Browns. I've been hearing some different point of views lately from some people that I work with, and they're not a big fan of the color scheme, but I read the fashion summary at the bottom of this page, and did you know that actually most fans still prefer and still really like the orange and the brown because it's just different from all the other teams? I've never been opposed to the color scheme of the Browns, and I've always liked the plain helmet. It separates us from the other 31 teams in the NFL. I've always liked it. It makes us different, and that's why I like it. Number 13, Washington Redskins. I've always liked their colors, and I've always liked their logo, and I don't see why it's offending so many people personally. I think they should just get over it. Stop taking things so personally. Number 12, the New Orleans Saints. I've always liked their colors as well, and I've always liked their logo. And then you have the Jets. I'm kind of, neutral with this. Don't mind it. Number 10, the Oakland Raiders. Always been a fan of their color scheme and their logo. Number 9, Chicago Bears. Same thing goes with them. The Green Bay Packers. I've never been a fan of their color scheme. The G is, it is what it is. Nothing exciting. Number 7, the New York Giants. They made a change to their logo recently. And, I like their colors a lot. I don't mind their logo. Then you have the San Francisco 49ers coming in at number 6. Always liked their colors as well. And their logo. Number 5, Dallas Cowboys. You can't go wrong with them. The star on it, the blue, the white, I like it. Number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs. Always liked their colors. Always liked their logo. You're probably thinking to yourself at this point, can you come up with a different way of presenting your feelings? I'll try. Number 3, Pittsburgh Steelers. Sorry, Steeler fans, just, being me. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts. And number 1, the Chargers. Yes, they do have the best jerseys in the NFL, probably with that powder blue. You gotta love it. So, that's what the football news of the day. Cavaliers had a game tonight against the Chicago Bulls. It was the 4th and final meeting between the two teams. Cavs came in with a record of 15 and 25, make that 15 and 26, as they lost, and it was really a back and forth game. Cavs looked really good in the first half. Bulls came on strong in the second half. They really stepped up their defense, and Kyrie Irving led the Cavs in scoring with 26 points, followed by Deng with 11 facing his former team, and Dion Waiters 15 off the bench. And then you had DJ Augustine, who he's been with the Chicago Bulls only for about a month, maybe 2. He had 27 points, pretty impressive. And Taj Gibson 26 points, Mike Dunleavy with 22 points. See, the thing with me with the Cavs is that they allowed Chicago to shoot 52% from the floor. They shot 47% from three-point range. And they also shot 77% from the free throw line. You're not going to win many games when you let a team shoot above 43% from the field. Or I should say 45%. We'll go with 45%. And they held the Cavs to 37% from the field, 42% from three-point range, and the Cavs just, they have not been a good free throw shooting team for a while. So, Cavaliers' next game is when they host the Milwaukee Bucks this Friday. Tips at 7. The Cavs, I keep saying it, are so lucky that they are in the Eastern Conference. They're still only 2 games back of Charlotte, but, this team, again, they have no identity. You don't know what team is going to show up from time to time. You don't. And that's the problem I have with the Cavs. I just hope that they get their stuff together soon and they start to buy into this defensive philosophy, because I know a lot of people beat up on Mike Brown on Twitter after the games. I know he is not, the offensive-minded coach that we want him to be. I know that. But he preaches that defense creates easy offense, and that's true. If you can get your opponent to commit 12 to 15 turnovers a night and you're scoring off those turnovers, you can have a mediocre, decent shooting night from the field because you're getting so many fast break points. And that's what he preaches. And that's why I want to give Mike Brown a chance to get this team to go. Now, switching to the baseball scene, as we are getting ever so close to spring training. I believe the pitchers and catchers report in 20 days, I think is what it is. I don't have the countdown in front of me. Sorry about that, folks. But nothing to do with the Indians. The Boston Red Sox actually signed former center fielder of the Indians, Grady Sizemore, to a 1-year deal. I mean, that is what it is. I really don't care, but I just thought that was pretty interesting when I read about it. And the Yankees signed Masahiro Tanaka, the Japanese sensation, to a 7-year, $155 million contract. I'm curious as to if he's actually going to fulfill that contract, stay there the whole time. But it is what it is. I can't wait for the season to start, just because of the fact that I'm curious to see if Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne can improve on the years that they had last year. I'm very curious to see how well Terry Francona can do in his second year with this team, and who knows? The beautiful thing about baseball is that it's you got those big market teams, but anything can happen in baseball. That's the beautiful thing. And the one thing I thought about the other day that I've always known, but I kind of reminded myself of this, is that baseball is the one sport where you see so many different teams in the playoffs from year to year to year. But it's more than any other sport, and that's why I love baseball so much. So you guys can call and chime in to me on the Browns coaching situation, which is nothing as of right now. Or, we could talk to Cavs, of course, because this team has got to step it up sooner or later. Again, thank God they're in the East. And I still see a lot of you that, want to talk about the Browns, which is no surprise. But, again, phone number is 330-555-2821. Tweet at me, @nbrolis. And please feel free to email me, nickbrolis8404 @yahoo.com. We'll be right back to you here on the Cleveland Sports Report.